based on what he says about being Big Jeopardy, that it's going to be a big villain. What's up, Ragin Nation? How's it going? This is Alex Yu, and you're watching The Road to TF5. This is just web series we're talking about Transformers last night. This episode number 102, and I want to say happy birthday to Luis Nunez, LT the Lucario, and also Enrique Duncan. Happy birthday to all y'all. Hope you have a good one. Thank you for being part of the Ragin Nation. Now, the next thing I want to say is Happy New Year. Happy 2017. 2017 is, of course, going to be a really big year, especially because 2017 is the year of the last night. Transformers Last Night will be released this summer of 2017, specifically June of 2017, which is not too long from now, half a year from now. Some people might think that's a very short time. Other people may think that's a very long time. But don't worry, I've got you covered because there's plenty of material to watch as we get hyped up for this highly anticipated film. Now, what you're watching right now, The Road to TF5, would be considered unofficial marketing for Transformers Last Night. I'm here to get you all hyped up for this film, but there's a lot of official marketing that is coming up that is keep you really, really busy, such as, for example, the Super Bowl TV spot, which is coming out soon. Then there's New York Toy Fair, then there's a release of the toys, and then there's the final theatrical trailer and a whole bunch of TV spots. So there's a lot going on, and of course, one of the big ones that's coming out soon is, of course, Super Bowl 51, which comes out, or rather is happening, on February 5th, 2017. Now, for those that do not know, what exactly is Super Bowl? Well, Super Bowl is, of course, the biggest sporting event in America, which is also watched by Canadian football fans as well. And it is the most widest watched sporting event in the continent, or in the country at least. And a lot of movie studios, corporations, they pay millions and millions of dollars for 30 seconds of screen time because they know that their commercial is going to be watched by a lot of people. So that is why it's such a big deal, and that is exactly why Paramount Pictures, Michael Bay, and Hasbro want a piece of marketing, or rather a 30-second TV spot for Transformers Last Night. Now, they only have 30 seconds, so therefore, they gotta put in some of the most exciting stuff to really sell us on this film. After all, this summer is gonna be a really, really competitive summer with a lot of giant blockbusters. So, what I'm about to start now is actually a kind of like a small little web series within this web series. Right now you're watching The Road to TF5, this episode number 102, but it's also the countdown to Super Bowl. And this is the first episode for Countdown to Super Bowl, and there's only 33 days left. Now, in the next episode, we'll count down once again. And then on the next episode, we'll count down once again. And then we'll keep on counting down until there's only 1 day left until we get to Super Bowl, and then that is when we're going to watch the Super Bowl TV spot for Transformers Last Night. And of course, you're going to see my reaction. But in the meantime, in every single one of these countdown to Super Bowl episodes, we're going to talk about Transformers Last Night. There's a lot to talk about. And now, the very first thing we're going to talk about is Hot Rod. Now, there has been, of course, the set reports and the interviews with the people who are working on Transformers Last Night, such as the cast, the crew, the director, Michael Bay, producer, Lorenzo de Bonaventura, and a lot more has been revealed. And specifically, we're going to talk about Hot Rod. So, in this interview from Collider.com, the question was, does Hasbro ever say that they want certain characters like, why haven't you guys done Hot Rod yet? We'd like to see him. They definitely have their favorites, like any fan. I think they have their favorites. Sometimes we're able to include them and sometimes not. The story, to a certain extent, will demand that, you know? I think we're always looking to create a few new ones, too, so that the fans have something that is brand new as well, so that it doesn't just feel derivative of what they've seen or done before. So we're trying to keep a kind of a balance in that respect. Keep the loved ones, add a few new ones, add a few ones from the mythology. Okay, so we already know that Hot Rod is in this film, and we're also going to see fan favorites, but we're also going to get introduced to new characters that haven't been introduced in any way, shape, or form from the previous Transformers mythos. So we kind of already know this, especially with characters like Squeaks and other unfamiliar names that we've never heard of in the previous cartoons or comics. So that is what they're doing. Let's talk a little bit more about Hot Rod. We know that Hot Rod was introduced in this movie, or is going to be introduced. Is there a chance that somewhere down the road that he would take on the Matrix of Leadership, or that we could see a movie without Optimus being the main leader of the Transformers? Well, that's interesting in this movie. One of the interesting things is we question whether he would be the leader. So I think on that level, we're already taking a step in that direction. I think we all revere it. It's sort of like doing a Batman movie without Batman. I find it hard to see him not being a player in it. Does he have to be a central leader player? No. He doesn't have to be. He doesn't have to be, and in this movie we question it and he questions it. So I think on that level you're going to really enjoy that aspect of it, because he's got a really, one of the things that I really like about him going to Cybertron is he has to ask himself the question of, was I responsible for this division? Was it my ego that got in the way? Who is my loyalty to? I think it's always great when you have a big hero like that really questioning what they do. Now, Lorenzo Bonaventura talked a little bit about Hot Rod, but he was hinting that he could potentially be the new leader. After all, Optimus flew to Cybertron apparently, and he, according to his response, and then he's asking himself, like, what happened here? Did my actions cause the division of his I guess the Autobots or his alliance? You know what I'm saying? Or maybe how the people of or whoever's left on Cybertron feel about him. So that is going to be very, very interesting to see that. So Hot Rod, it's suggested that he could be the new leader of the Autobots because of what Optimus Prime is doing right now. He did mention that we're seeing a Batman movie without Batman. After all, if Batman is referred to as Optimus Prime, then we're watching a Transformers film without Optimus Prime, but the rest of them are still there. All those Transformers elements will still be there, but just without Optimus Prime. Following up from that is there wasn't a lot of space for him to go anywhere but somewhere like that. I think that's true. I think that he needed to delve into his past, in a sense, to figure out who his is. I wouldn't say he's having an identity crisis. I would say that he has to make some really serious choices about what he aligns with. So this is, of course, referring back to Optimus Prime, and he needs to question himself about what he's doing, who his loyalty really lies with, and in the end, what is his purpose. So there's a lot going on there, and we're going to delve into more deeper purpose of Optimus Prime. After all, we've kind of really been learning to understand what his purpose really is, but now we're going to go deeper into that. And I love that we're going into this aspect of his character, because it really shows more depth of the characters. Speaking of characters, we got to talk a little bit about the villains. The ongoing battle in all of these movies is the Autobots versus the Decepticons. What's the difference about the conflict in this movie as opposed to the other ones? I think first of all, we will introduce a new villain. A surprise, I think, as you discover who the villain is. So in that respect, that is a very different kind of Decepticon form, if you would. I think that the understanding of the mythology, as you begin to unveil it, you'll understand just how big the jeopardy that we're going to face is. So there's going to be a new threat. I guess it's supposed to be a new Decepticon threat. It's going to be a new character, a new villain, and it sounds like, based on what he says about being Big Jeopardy, that it's going to be a big villain. So we've heard about the giant villain under the water. There's that three-headed dragon, which could maybe just be a three-headed dragon in medieval times, but there's something bigger that is a new villain that we haven't seen in the first trailer. And finally, the question is, if you're introducing a new villain, is Galvatron, Megatron still around? Does he play any role in this? Yeah, Megatron for sure is around. I mean, are we talking about some of the ones that are... You can talk about some of the new ones. So if you go back in the mythology, how Transformers were actually created, where did it start? Where did it go from being a sort of a slave race to a sentient race? We're delving into that aspect of the mythology. So the characters that are involved in there are Megatron before he's Megatron, Optimus before he's Optimus, the Librarian, the Quintessons. There's a whole group of things that have to do with how, in a sense, the Transformers were birthed. And also with how they were divided. What brought up the division and what were the jealousies involved. So I think on that level, you're going to deal with things that feel from a stakes level higher because of the importance of the sort of thought, right? There's still, of course, the threat to the world, and that sort of threat we have, but I think that threat is amplified now, because you're going to feel why certain aspects of our world, why we've been fighting, in a sense. So, he talks a lot about some very, very key points, such as Megatron before he's Megatron, Optimus before he's Optimus, the Librarian, the Quintessons. He mentions Quintessons. There's also the mention of the creators. Is the creators an alias for the Quintessons, or are they two completely separate properties? And then there's the Librarian. Librarian, of course, suggests somebody who has a lot of knowledge because of a lot of the books and archives or whatever, right? All that information and knowledge. Could that be an alias for Alpha Trion? I mean, it could be, or it could be a completely new character. After all, they're giving out names like creators for the Quintessons and a Librarian for potentially Alpha Trion. So there's a lot going on here that delves into the lore, and I think that knowledge and that information that's being presented to the audience in this film will really help us, give us a bigger and better understanding of who the threat is and what's at stake here. So that is a pretty important thing, especially it helps us understand that this guy isn't just a big bad threat just for the sake of being a big bad threat. It's something that extends from the history of the Transformers. So that in itself is something I'm already quite happy with because of the fact that there seems to be more depth into the story and the characters. So I'm pretty excited about that. And that's all I really got to say about all this. We covered a lot of material. We talked about Hot Rod, Optimus Prime, a new big bad villain, the potential for Quintessons, and then there's something called the Librarian. There's just a lot of stuff that is really gonna be exciting when we watch it on the big screen on June of 2017. Really, really exciting stuff, and I'm just really excited to know that we're gonna get a very, very unique story that really delves into the lore of Transformers. After all, we're ditching the previous 3 writers from the last 4 films and bringing in a whole new team of writers, which came from this writer's room led by Akiva Goldsman, which is made up of some of the most talented writers in Hollywood. I mean, we got Art Markham and Matt Holloway, who wrote Iron Man, and Ken Nolan, who wrote Black Hawk Down, working on Transformers last night. That alone gives me a lot of faith in this film. So anyways, that's all I got to talk about in this episode. Why don't you let me know your comments or feedback about this in the comment section below. But for now, I'd like you to turn your attention to the 2017 Toronto Auto Show, because Ryan from Transformers Cars, you guys know Transformers Cars, it's the Facebook page, which is very, very proactive about giving us all this fun and exciting content for the Transformers live action films. Well, Ryan entered his 1977 Camaro B at the 2017 Toronto Auto Show, and he needs your support. He needs your votes, and I'm going to send you to, or rather leave the link in the description box below, where all of you guys, every single one of you guys, can click to vote. And if you guys vote, and he gets a lot of votes, he's going to win, and you know what? That's what it's all about, being part of the Transformers community. We're here to help each other. We're here to support each other. So Ryan needs your support. Show him that support. All right. Anyways, the last thing I'm going to talk about is, of course, contest time. So I'm going to give you guys the results of the last contest, and that was the Transformers live action film meme contest. You guys have to create a meme, and whoever gets the most likes on their meme gets a prize. And that prize is this awesome TS07 Solar Blast from Impossible Toys. It was made possible, or rather sponsored, from Renderform. And this is essentially a third-party Cybertronian Sunstorm. So this is what you get for whoever got the most likes on their meme. So, of course, I gotta give a big mention to the first and second runner-ups. So we're gonna do that first. And the first runner-up is from, let's see, Shellshock95. Shellshock95, I really like this meme. Check this out. It says, "Give me your face, Optimus. Eat a Snickers. Why? Because you turn into a robot killer when you're hungry. He eats one. Better? Better." So congratulations to Shellshock95. You are third place. Third place doesn't get a prize, but you get an honorable mention. Second place gets another honorable mention. This is from Miguel Aligora with 105 likes. And I really like this one as well. Your crush. That would be, what do you even call this? I don't know what you even call this guy or her. Your crush, her father, Megatron, her brother's Lockdown, her first love is Soundwave, her ex is Shockwave, and you, Igor. That's a good one. 105 likes. Once again, Miguel Aligora, I don't have a prize for you, but you get an honorable mention for being second place. Now here is the number one. Great job, Decepticons. That's from Megatron, and he speaks to the dabbers from Transformers Prime. We got Starscream, Knockout, and who's the big guy? Forgot his name. What's his name again? I forgot his name. But anyways, so and they're bottle flippers too. They flipped the bottle on the table. The bottle stood upright, and then they got a dab. Okay. So there you go. That came with, how many likes? 228 likes. Holy cow. Alberto Salerno, you are the winner of the TS07 Solar Blast. And all I need from you is your address. Contact me at raginnation@gmail.com. And I'm going to send this prize your way. For those that didn't win, I appreciate your participation. And don't worry, there's a lot more prizes, more giveaways, and more contests to be a part of. Alright, so stay tuned for more updates. And stay tuned for episode number 103, because we're going to continue counting down to Super Bowl. Alright, this is a very exciting time for Transformers fans. On February 5th, 2017 is when we're going to see some very, very, very exciting marketing. The first theatrical trailer was actually quite awesome. It gave us a kind of like a story and a teaser and got us all excited. But this next one's all about the money shots, and that's coming February 5th, 2017. And why don't you guys count down with me and subscribe? As always, if you enjoyed this video, you want to see more, hit the like button, subscribe to the YouTube channel, like me on Facebook, The Ragin Nation. Also follow me on Twitter, Ragin Nation. My name's Alex. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Peace. It has two vehicle modes, the Lambo and the Citroen DS, which is Vivian's car. Vivian is the character played by Laura Haddock.